If you haven't already seen it, a voice memo has gone viral that a woman shared because she invited a man over to her apartment and he sent her a voice memo letting her know that since they've already been on 2 dates, he would like to explore if they're sexually compatible when he comes over to her apartment and wanted to know if that was also how she was feeling before he came over, right? He wanted to smash. She posted this as though it was some horrible thing, but I am team voice memo man is a walking green flag
Okay.
because of what this comment is mentioning, that this kind of openness saves lives. Because what voice memo man was doing, even though it's maybe not something we're used to
Hmm.
or it's a little awkward, he was trying to get consent from a person before putting them in a situation that was very uncomfortable for them, or that could have been very uncomfortable for them.
I agree with her take on it, but I think there's one detail that we're kind of missing that I'm seeing both sides not really touching on too much so far. So I heard something in that voice memo that changes things in my opinion. And I had to listen to that voice memo a couple of times to catch it. But it does change things. But I am in more agreements with her than I am with the latter. So
I mean, because I found myself in this situation, I'm sure many people have, where you want to invite someone over to your home. I like to play video games, so I'll invite someone over to play video games, not understanding that that person wants to have sex with you, and then they make a move and they're in your home, and then you have to do the work of kicking them out, and it's incredibly awkward and hard. And sometimes does not even go well and ends up putting people in really traumatic situations that they don't want to experience. But all of this can be avoided if people are super open and clear and honest about what they want before situations have things like pressure and coercion tied into them. And honestly, I think rape culture is a part of why it makes us uncomfortable when people are this open, right? Because we live in a society that has normalized consent not being an open conversation, not being brutally honest. What we have instead is a culture that normalizes signals and like indirectness. And that's what people find attractive. People are allowed to have their own romantic and sexual interests, right? But you do also have to understand that the idea is that things should be indirect and unspoken is what enables rape culture to continue, right? Because then when people are in
mhm,
situations that they didn't want to be in, people are allowed to say, oh, well, there was this signal or there was this signal. And so I thought what I was doing was okay. And that's accepted as a valid excuse because we haven't normalized people just openly saying, hey, I would like to have sex with you. Is that all right? Or we haven't
exactly.
normalized people sitting down and having a conversation before they have a sexual encounter about what type of sex is appropriate and what other sexual experiences aren't wanted. People don't talk about those things. It's seen as
Hmm.
awkward if you tell someone, hey, I would like to sit down and talk about our sexual preferences before we do anything, okay? Or, hey, before I come to your house, I would like to know if you want to have sex with me. That gets posted on blast online and ridiculed like it's some sort of bad thing when
Exactly.
it's really a life saving conversation about consent.
Mhm.
So again, I think voice memo man is a walking green flag, and I do think that people that are making fun of him or uncomfortable by that type of communication should really deeply inspect where their ideas of what like romance and sexuality looks like comes from, and if those ideas might be influenced by a culture that isn't actually safe. If you haven't already seen it, a voice memo has gone.
Okay. So I agree with what she's saying. I like the openness of him because I feel like that openness does save lives and save you from traumatic situations. He put it out on the table and put everything out on Front Street for her to make that decision whether she wants to continue seeing him or not. And they could go their separate ways. You know what I mean? If she doesn't want to. So, as she was describing towards the middle of this, she was saying when you leave things to the unsaids, the gray spaces is what I call them, you leave things up in the air to be interpreted freely. And the thing is, people, two parties can interpret one thing completely different. And depending on what's being interpreted, if anybody acted on that and the other party wasn't in agreement, it could lead to a very traumatic situation for both parties at the end of the day and very serious consequences after that as well. So that's why I kind of commend the openness and truthfulness of how he was coming across. This comment here, this first comment, openness is good, but the message sounded quite disrespectful to me. Towards the end there, especially, I feel like he got too comfortable with the way he was speaking to her, especially for somebody you've only seen twice. Because remember, it's after the second date he sent this, what the memo was explaining. So, in my opinion, I think the one part, I think it was at the 40-second mark in the voice memo. So we're gonna go over there right now.
like like I know you said I don't know about that. So like I guess my thing is like what
The I know you said I don't know about that. So it insinuates that they had a conversation beforehand about this, maybe on the second date, maybe on the first date, and it sounded like she was unsure, possibly uncomfortable. We're not going to jump to conclusions, but Just some quick advice for men out there watching this. It'll save you from all sorts of awkward situations. Is just anything but an enthusiastic yes is a no. Just assume so. All right. So if you're a guy, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you wanting a physical relationship and asking for that off top, to be honest with you. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all because you're being truthful about the situation. And again, you're giving the other party a choice to choose if they want to be a part of this type of agreement or not. The only thing is, if they've said, especially when it comes to women, they're very indirect people. Like they're not a monolith, but more so than not, very indirect. Do not let confrontation. They don't like confrontation or anything like that. So just off of how he's moving here, in my opinion, it shows that he's kind of inexperienced with women because you know this. Cut your losses there, move on. She's not on what you're on, and keep it pushing. I'm not to say you won't find a girl that's on the same type of energy you're on, because I'm sure you can, especially in it's 2026. Everyone's very sexually liberated and very free with that type of stuff. So I think the same approach would work with somebody else, in my opinion, if you kept it free. Because I've heard girls even saying too, like, sometimes I don't want to go on the dates. I just want to go to the house and smash if I'm into him that much. But they give you lead ons and they give you certain signals that'll give you that type of energy so you know to move in. But this, if she's saying, I'm not sure, I don't know, again, anything other than a yes, keep it pushing, just assume it's a no. And yeah, just cut your losses there and keep it moving.